I'm back at the Ithaca Farmers Market for another Saturday, and I'm loaded for bear today. I got coolers in the back, I got coolers in the front. Not a lot of beef, but I brought extra chicken to make up for it. Now I'm a little late today, so I'm gonna unpack and I'll get back with you guys. There we are, ready to sell.
I'll do both.
Okay.
That's fine.
$41.95.
Can I get 2 bacon, a ground beef, and a breakfast sausage?
Sure. $34.70. I'm just gonna shoot a little video.
Okay. Get the line?
Yeah, the line.
Do you have chicken necks today?
I have one bag with me.
I will take it.
This is Tom.
Yep. Kara. Ryan. Tyler.
Ryan, Tyler.
Come down from Marcellus.
You're from Trumansburg. Do you watch the channel?
Yes, I do.
What's your name?
Alamonte. And you're enjoying what you're doing.
Oh yeah, always. I like the thins because they cook 4 minutes aside and they're done. They don't dry out.
No beef, huh?
Not till next week or the week after. Lots of YouTube viewers this morning.
Yeah. We are from New York City.
New York City.
Yeah, we
What
have
part?
a house, Manhattan. We live-
Manhattan.
Yeah.
He hates YouTube, he hates watching that stuff, but he hears your voice, he's like, oh, it's him! It's Andy and Tracy.
This is Tracy.
Nice to meet you. Where are you from?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Not too far.
Not too far. You're awesome. You're awesome. I love the
This is just perfect for the camera. I mean,
Oh, it's on?
it is on. Where are you guys from?
Chicago County, south of Buffalo.
Well, thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you guys. That was a big long rush, and it was mostly viewers who wanted to talk a little bit, which I'm always happy to do. I just worry about how long the line gets and how long people have to wait. So that's the first hour and a half of market, basically. Here's something that only happens once a year for me. I gotta get my scale recertified. The county comes and they check it out, they put weight on it, make sure it's accurate.
We brought you a shirt
Oh, thank you.
Just had a high state on the other day.
on Thursday.
We're from Ohio.
So there you
There was
go.
a lot of reaction to that shirt. Go Buckeyes. Yeah, thank you.
And if we bought your book, would you mind to sign it?
Sure,
Or
I
do you
can
do,
sign it.
do you
Yep.
do-
5 3/4 pounds of chops. On card. Well, my scale passed, got the official document. Yay, another year. I really got cleaned out this morning in the first 2 hours of market. Chicken is almost gone, saving for a CSA. I got one left to sell. I came with that full of chicken, that full of chicken, chicken in the freezer. Eggs are gone except for our CSA members. And the hens are laying less this time of year, so it's not uncommon. Beef is gone. Pork is, I still got quite a bit of pork left, but we're between batches with beef now, so we brought 2 beefs to the butcher last weekend. We'll get them back next week. It's just the nature of market. You can't have a continuous supply. You try to, but sometimes it's hard to plan for what demand that you will get. And it's not terrible to run out of some of these things early in market because at about noon the business really dries up and turns into the lunch crowd, so you want to do about 90% of your selling in the morning. When I started out at the smaller markets, I was really superstitious about market because sometimes it seemed kind of random whether you'd have a good day or not, just depended on the particular people that showed up that day. So I developed a set of market rules because I'm kind of superstitious, and rule 1 was to never look at the total of what you had sold until the end of market, or you would curse it for later sales. If you said, wow, I'm doing pretty good, then sales would dry up. The second one was related to the first, and that is never call for resupply. So if I ran out of, say, whole chickens early on, and a couple times I had Hillary come and bring me more whole chickens, and I wouldn't sell a single whole chicken after that. So if I ran out, I ran out. There was no resupply because it never wound up being worth it. The third one was to never ask other vendors how market was going sales-wise until the end of market, for the same kind of superstitions. And the fourth rule is if you second guess market, you would always get burned. So if I thought, oh, it's sunny outside, a lot of people are going to be barbecuing chicken legs and thighs, and I brought extra of those, they wouldn't sell. So I could try and anticipate what to pack, but if you packed a few of one thing and a lot of another, the thing that you had a few of would sell out, and everything that you brought a lot of wouldn't. So I'm not so superstitious these days. I kind of pack in a standard way and it sells. But in the beginning, it was really important because market would make or break our week depending on how many sales we had. Bonus, I thought I was out of whole chickens, and then I found another cooler full, which I'd forgotten about. So I have a few left to sell, which makes my afternoon a little more interesting. Market's busy, but I've slowed down some. So the best way to drum up some new business is to start eating my sandwich. Having had first lunch, it's time to go out and forage for second lunch. And I want to show you guys the produce that I think makes this time of year, at least in our region. The first is Heirloom Tomatoes. Probably 100 different varieties here at the market. Hi. Many of the farmers here use high tunnels to extend the growing season, and tomatoes is one thing. There's kind of a race to get them out first, because if you can get them out first, you can charge more in the beginning for them because of scarcity, and that's what they do. And then when the more competition comes on the market, the price comes down. The other thing I think of when it's this time of year is sweet corn, and this is the most delicious sweet corn that you can find at market. Got my dinner, sweet corn. The guy that I bought the sweet corn from didn't want to be on camera because he's camera shy like most people, but everybody knows him as the corn guy because his corn is the best. He won't disclose what specific variety he grows, but it's a bicolor and it is so good. Best corn I've ever had. And as a coincidence, he lives in the same town as I do, and his real name is Ed. This is the tour boat that goes up the lake every hour. So you pay for a ticket and you go up and down, and they describe the scenery and the history of the lake. Looks like they're getting ready to cast off. Amazingly, I'm pretty sure that that is a wooden boat. It's a big boat for wood, these days anyway. This is what the pavilion looks like from the outside, and it's really convenient to sell here because you can back your car right to the edge of your stall there, unload your car, set up your stall, and then load back up. You don't have to cart your products anywhere, you're just right there. It's one of the advantages to this building. What did I come out for? Oh yeah, lunch, second lunch. The place I usually get my lunch salad from is not here. Hasn't been here for 2 weeks. I don't know what's up with that, so I gotta go find somebody else to get a salad from. But I know the place. This is my neighbor. He lives about a mile down the road from me, and he has a Cambodian food place and does one heck of a business. But that's not where I'm going for lunch. All right, this is a major bummer. Both of my food vendors aren't here today. Usually there's a Sprouts place that sells salads here, but there's a fermented place that sells kombucha and fermented pickles and that sort of thing, which I love, but it's not my lunch today. There's so much art here, so much creativity. Creative in the way to make a small farm a business in this day and age, creative in the way that they market their products. Just, it's full of creative people. That's one of the reasons I feel at home here. I know the guy that mans this booth, but he's not around lately. I don't know what the heck he's doing. Well, I guess I'm not having second lunch today. The two places I buy from them because they either grow their own ingredients, in the case of the Sprout place, and they make their own dressing, or they buy local, which is the first place I usually get from. And I try to focus what I spend here on things that are made that way instead of bought from a local supermarket or off the Cisco truck. I want to eat food that was grown locally. It's 12:45 and the crowd's starting to thin out. The lunch places are busy. I won't do that much business in the last 2 hours. I got 4 whole chickens left to sell. Can I sell them? I don't know, we'll see. It really is so much busier in the morning. In fact, I just looked at my cash register on my phone here, and from 8:30 to 11 o'clock I did a transaction every 2 minutes. And then after noon, I've done a transaction about once every half hour on average. Maybe a little less at times, but it really is true. The people show up in the beginning because they want to get the best produce and the widest selection of products, so they pile in the morning, and then in the afternoon it really gets quiet, and I can afford to walk around, see other people, and look at different products at the market. And viewers have accentuated that trend for me because they've seen the videos where I sell out. So much of the line I get first thing in the morning is viewers, and they all seem to want, for the most part anyway, Dexter steaks, which I don't really have a lot of. I mean, we don't send that much beef to the butcher, about 600 pounds a month back in cuts to sell. And a fairly small percentage of that is steaks. So I guess I need to do a better job on the channel at saying, man, our pork chops sure are good and our chicken sure is good, and show them a little more. I don't know. Everybody likes a good steak, but I actually like a good pork chop more than the best steak. Sure. Well, I don't know. I like to sell things twice. The way I got rid of it is I started eating probiotics and lacto fermented foods, and we started fermenting our own sauerkraut and kimchi, but we can't make pickles like you guys do.
I know. And I'll tell you what, last year was like a real learning curve for us because we had so many 55-gallon barrels that went bad. Because it's like within a day. So every day we have to go there and test the pH and like taste the pickles.
Wait, what? Basil?
These are lacto fermented pickles, which means they're just fermented in a brine, and these have garlic and dill in them. You make a brine out of usually sea salt and water, and then ferment these for, usually with pickles it only takes a few days, and you get that crisp crunch, hopefully, and you also get the benefit of probiotic bacteria. And after I had C. diff, which I shared in an earlier video when I had MRSA and then C. diff, this was one of the ways that I got rid of the C. diff, is I started eating a lot of lacto fermented foods. We ferment sauerkraut, kimchi, we do pickles, and it's awesome. It tastes great, and it's got a lot of beneficial bacteria for your gut. The secret with lacto fermenting is you do it at room temperature. So you make your brine, you put your vegetables in, and leave them at room temperature in a fermenter or a fermentation crock. And then when they're the consistency you like, then you put them in the fridge to slow down the bacteria, stop the bacteria, and they should be kind of fizzy because the bacteria is working. There's no need to inoculate anything. The bacteria is already on the surfaces of the vegetables. You just encourage it to grow by putting it in the brine. And they have so many health benefits aside from just getting rid of the C. diff that I had, that we've continued eating lacto fermented for years since. It's 1:30 and I got 3 chickens left. I don't know. I get all kinds of questions about how our animals are grown, and it's funny some of the questions you get. The last customer had 3 questions for me before he bought a chicken. 1, where is it grown? Lansing, which is about 15 minutes away from here. 2, do you butcher them on the farm? Yes. And 3, do do you give any antibiotics? The answer was no, and so I survived his litmus test. Usually when a customer comes and asks me those kinds of questions, GMO feed is one of them, and I have to say that we do and explain why. Usually those customers will walk away, and it's just one of those things, but people should know how their food is grown and find the one that suits their ideals.
Say hi. I'm Abdel. We're from Baltimore.
Baltimore?
Yeah.
Who's your son? What's his name?
Gabriel.
Gabriel.
I enjoy watching your show. Just watching whatever you post. It's really interesting and
Thank you.
like you live in the city. There's no apartment there, but I still enjoy watching all the.
I'm a little tired. I was up late last night. A police officer knocked on my door and said my dogs were chasing people on bikes. And I said, that's ridiculous. My dogs don't even own bikes. And what's even more ridiculous is I don't even own dogs. A lot of people would like to know why, but I'm keeping that a secret. At the sound of the tone, it's 2 o'clock. Beep. Nothing to do but watch the people go by. The reason I do 80-90% of my sales before noon is not because I run out of stuff, it's because the crowd changes. If I brought more stuff, it really wouldn't matter in the afternoon. It's just that the crowd changes. It changes to more of a tourist crowd and a lunch crowd, and sales have always gone down ever since I started this market. It's just the demographics of the market customers. And it's an issue that I hear about with large farmers markets around the country, where they start out as what I would call a true farmers market, and then they become a tourist attraction, and gradually the people that want to buy groceries get squeezed out by the crowds, and then the markets turn over and become more of a lunch market, and the spirit of the local agriculture is lost. And it's one of the things that I'm constantly worried about with this market. It can be a victim of its own success. In either case, the original farmers market or the later tourist attraction remains an incubator for small businesses, which is a great function of farmers market. At the same time, I think that one of the core reasons is actually to bring local food to people, and it loses that purpose when it suffers from its own success, so to speak. I want people to know that I actually sell something.
Legs and thighs.
I have them still hooked to the chicken, but I don't have them by themselves.
Okay, let's take a small chicken.
Two chickens left. My last remaining hope for my two lonely chickens is the little bit of rush you get as people are walking out at the end of the market. Who knows? Fresh chicken on the way out? Makes sense. Well, it's 10 till 3, and I guess I'm going to have to give up on selling my last two lonely whole chickens. That's okay. They'll go home and into the freezer, and I'll sell them another day. I'll spare you packing up. You've seen that so many times before. I did want to note, though, before I close, that tomorrow, August 16th, is a 2-year anniversary of my channel, and it's been a great trip. It took 6 months to get to 1,000 subscribers, which was kind of my original goal to begin with. And then it took another, I think, 8 months to get to 100,000, and here we are after 24 months, 165,000, I think. So it's been a great journey, and having people come to the market and see me from far away is just amazing. I still can't fathom it all. So I'm going to pack up, head home, take a nap probably, and be back with more farm videos next week. We got a lot of work with the livestock to do, so you'll be seeing that. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.